Hello and welcome back to another Academagia. I am Sean the player, and in this time round we're gonna set up a schedule. So we've got some sort of holiday going on here. The Juvenalia? Juvenalia. So we're currently resting. We don't need to do rest. Leave as is. So this one here, we're going to... What's this? Again, one step in a random skill. Gossip. You're about to cast your spell when the small student Nomea Falcone Parendius. Wow, that is a very long name. Rushes into your room and scurries to hide behind you, mildly irritated at being interrupted at such an important moment, and you're about to ask her to leave when 3 other students barge into the room and glare at you. Where's Nomea? We'll go for this. Nomea. Philip asks. You don't like his tone of voice. You also don't like the way Nomea is beginning to shiver. Really, he's just an arsehole. Poor girl. Okay. Interrogation. What do they want her for? Even though you're trying to look intimidating, this obviously didn't work because the students just sneer at you and tell you to mind your own business. Perhaps you should try a different tack. Okay, acting. Girl? What girl? I see no girl. You step even more in front of Nomea and glare at Philip. In the cold voice you point out that you have absolutely no idea what he's talking about, and that it would do him good to leave before you get angry. He blinks at you and beckons one of the other students over. We saw her come in here, didn't we, Julia? She nods firmly. You resist the impulse to shake your head firmly and start a yes she did, no she didn't kind of argument. Being careful not to reveal to them where Nomea is hiding, you produce your wand and call upon all your acting skills in the voice that you hope is appropriately menacing. You threaten the bullies with every evil and horrible thing you can think of. You run through all the normal threats of transfiguration and glamourite through to the more exotic curse that you picked up from reading far too many of the novels hidden at the back of your library. You're not even halfway through when the leader steps forward and bashes you over the head. When you wake up, they're gone. The girl is gone and your shoes is gone. You spend the rest of the day in the infirmary, nursing a headache and wondering what in the name of roaster they could have wanted with your shoes. Great. Knock, knock, knock. You barely finish putting your clothes away in your drawer when you hear them knocking at the door. Wondering who could be calling on you so soon, you cross the small room over to the door and open it hesitantly. Yes, you say. A bright smile greets you nervously. Nervous question. Hi, says the woman as her hand sneaks out to grab yours in a firm shake. I'm Owen, Owen Sugg. I am your mentor. Seeing the confusion look you give her, she continues with, and I'm guessing no one told you that I was coming, did they? You shake your head. There was a thing in the letter, but it didn't give you much information. She smiles politely. I remember when it was like, she says. Day before classes, barely settling in your room, no idea what's in store. Let me tell you, it's better that way. People who come here full of stories about how things should be doesn't have the easiest of times. They're the ones who get stuck in detention the first day. Detention on the first day? How does that happen? Still nervous, you find it difficult to talk. Owen's polite smile turns into a gentle one. Come on, I'll explain as we walk. Pulling you out the door, Owen closes it behind you and leads you out of the Morvidus dormitories and into the fresh air. As she walks, she keeps up a steady patter that is as soothing as it is informative. Like I said, my name's Owen, and before you can ask, yes, I'm from Seon, and before you can ask, let me say that yes, we know just how important magic is to our survival, and no, I don't plan on taking what I've learned and going back to spend my life there, growing up in a city that needs to be under a bubble of air just to protect it from a volcano isn't as interesting as people think it is. But yes, you do learn an awful lot about magic from an early age. She looks over and smiles at you. But now you can tell your friends that you've met someone from Seon. I bet none of them have. You smile awkwardly, reminding Owen of why she's there. Don't worry, you'll get there. Turning, she directs you to a worn, pebble-lined path and steps up beside you, and as you start down the path. You're obviously curious about things, or you wouldn't be here. So that's a start. Everything you need to start with is right in there here anyways, she says, tapping your head lightly with her finger. After all, you must have decent study habits to have come this far. Your social skills must have been good enough to pass the interview, and since the Academagia doesn't accept total wimps, your schoolyard education couldn't be too bad off. Now could it? Schoolyard education? She must be talking about the time in the yard when your supposed friend. But how did she know about that? Your confused look gives your thoughts away, and I'm sorry, she says. I didn't even explain what I'm doing here. Okay, here's the quick version. Each incoming first year is assigned a second year as a mentor, someone to help guide them during their first year at the Academagia. As tradition dictates, the second year, me, greets the first year, you, on Juvenalia. Appropriate, is it not? You're like my first apprentice. Don't worry though, I won't treat you like one. She gives you a little laugh. Anyways, it seems there was a little mix-up with the registrar's office this year. Though, because they took in 3 last-minute additions and ran out of mentors. Legit Orsi asked around for the best mentor from last year, and my name popped up enough that he asked me personally to draw a name from a hat and mentor that student. A smile crackled the corner of her eyes. Oh, crinkled. And when Legit asks you personally to do him a favour, you don't really say no, do you? Still, some first years don't want to be hassled by someone older than them, so you have a choice to make. Do you want me as your mentor, or should I just let you go back to your room? Walk with your mentor. Help is always welcome. Owen nods. I figure as much, but it never hurts to ask. Come on, let's head down to the Great Hall and we'll talk about a few things. See that building over there? The one with all the arches and white marble. Squinting, you see buildings everywhere, most of which are encased in some kind of marble. Following a finger though, you find the building she points at, and raise your eyebrows. No wonder they call it the Great Hall. Tall and cylindrical in design, the building seems made more of arched windows than of marble. From the outside you can see a veritable forest of columns, and for a moment you find yourself losing perspective as you see several gnomes walking in front of the hall. It's only when that one of those gnomes started walking up the stairs that you realise they're students just like you. Yeah, it took my breath away the first time I saw it too. Owen says, "The Great Hall is where you'll..." Shit. I skipped. Sorry. Okay, the Great Hall is where you would take your meals, but it's much more than that. It's a meeting place. A study hall, a dual ring ground, but only when there aren't any professors around, obviously. It's also where students go when they are assigned hall sessions and detention. So we better talk about how to avoid those two things. I don't know how it was in your last school or if you ever went to any schools before this, but here at Academagia, there are two kinds of reprimands: academic and conduct. Most people only get academic reprimands if they stink at a class during the midterm exams. Professors don't like failing students, but they won't pass someone just because of their family connections. Well, they usually don't pass students because of that, but it happened before, so I'm sure it will happen again. Still, if you don't have a good connection and stink up a class, you get assigned to a hall session, which takes up your whole first day of your weekend, so make sure you don't neglect your studies for your fun. The second kind of reprimand is conduct reprimand. Owen tosses a smile over his shoulder and laughs. Everyone gets at least one of these during their year, so don't panic when you get hit with your first one. Lots of things can get you a conduct reprimand here, things like being in the wrong place and getting caught, being on the wrong side of a teacher's temper, royally stinking up an answer in class. Lots of things really. You'll have to discover some things on your own, of course. But I'll give you a quick brief on conduct reprimands. There are 3 grades, each of which goes hand in hand with a detention. The first is caution, which isn't so bad really. You get 3 of those a month before moving up to the 2nd grade, which is a review. You get 2 reviews a month before you're in real trouble, which is the 3rd grade. You don't want to deal with discipline, but if you do, expect to spend a lot of time in detention. Her own voice takes on a personal hitch as she says, "Detention's not all that bad really, but the stuff that comes with a discipline isn't worth the hassle, believe me." I will lead you up to the wide marble steps of the Great Hall, taking a single step with each extended stride. You're forced to take 2 steps to a 1, a fact that doesn't escape Owen's observant eye. This whole building was built to remind students of 2 things. First, it was meant to remind us that we're smaller than we think we are, no matter how important we all think we were when we got here. We have to remember that there are a bigger world waiting for us after graduation. Secondly, it's supposed to remind us of the days when the Williams ruled men, thus pushing us to the perfection of our preferred crafts so that we can fight the dragons should the Empire call upon us. She shook her head and laughed, as if any dragonflights had made it past the wall in the last century. Cresting the final step, she turns and waits for you to make the last few steps before continuing. Now that the bad part is out of the way, let's talk about the good stuff. There are 2 kinds of exams, midterms and finals. The purpose of midterms is to sort out who is failing and who is on the bubble. Finals, on the other hand, are meant to find the best of the best and shower them with honours. I've already told you what happens if you do poorly in midterms, so I won't waste your time with that again. Sufficient is it's to say that you will want to study at least enough to pass them comfortably. And before you ask, no, I don't know how much is enough for you. Each person is different, so you'll just have to pace yourself and take your own risks. Finals boil down to this: pass your class, or don't plan on moving on with the rest of your friends. Skills and studying are very important. Got it? Sorry about that, my throat was getting dry. You nod your head. So Owen continues. Spend as much time studying as you want, but don't forget to train your skills too. Training is easy. Just take a couple of hours and work on something you already know about. By now, Owen knows your confused look, so it's easy for her to shift directions when she sees you're lost. Take negation for example. Negation is composed of negation methods, negation themes, negation spells, and theory of negation. The more you train yourself on these skills, the better your overall negation will be. Some things you'll want to do require you to be very good at negation methods or the theory of negation, but some things require you to be good at overall negation. You can't study negation itself, only its component parts. The better you understand those parts, the better you understand the whole. Make sense? She pauses, thinking for a moment. But don't get so wrapped up in studying that you neglect to have fun. You have got to mind your emotions, or you will definitely be burned out. It's alright to take a break from time to time, go shopping, chat with friends, or play a prank. Nodding, you let Owen lead you into the building. Her voice takes an awed tone as she leads you through the forest of columns and towards the center of the building. A great granite dais rises from the marble floor, a good 10 paces square. On top of the dais are several different coloured clay pots, each holding a single, incredibly dead-looking flower. These are the flores fragi, she says. She turns to you. No matter how poor your illusion is, everyone in the Academagia knows these words, she says. The flores fragi, or exploding flowers, are the symbol of each college's merit. When a student does something to make a professor happy, they are awarded a point or two to that student's college. The flores fragi grows a bit for each merit point until, when the threshold is crossed, a seed shoots out of the plant's flower, through the hole into the ceiling, and explodes into the college colours. The plant doesn't die, but the flower loses its leaves until the college is awarded merit again. The plant grows with each merit point too, so even after your college flowers explode, you know how far ahead of the other colleges you are. Owen's broad smile tells you she's seen their fair share of the college colours displayed over the school sky. Here's the rub though, only the first college to cross the merit threshold gets to have their plant explodes. The others just drop their flower petals when they cross the threshold and start over. And the best part is that the winner of each level of merit wins something from the professors. The first prize is always a small purse of pims, but after that it's different every year. Only the winners get the prize, so the competition is fierce. Owen walks you around the rest of the building, pointing out where hall sessions are usually held, and with each college usually takes their meals. When she finishes the tour, she says, "So, now it's time I've got to know a bit more about you. What would you say your best strength is? The thing that really makes you deserve to be here at the finest school in all of Academia?" Owen nods her head as you tell her your strength. "I thought as much," she says. "My advice to you is to train your strength, at least for the first few weeks. Don't neglect your studies, of course, but focus on your strengths for a little bit. Might pay off big next time we meet." "Next time, you say?" "Of course. Mentors don't just do one thing and disappear. Tell you what, let's plan on meeting again when you feel ready. You can fill me in on how things are going then, and maybe we can see about answering a few more questions. Anytime you want to meet, you can look me up with the adventure action." The adventure you are looking for is called Request a Meeting with Your Mentor. Good luck and enjoy your time at Academagia. Sweet. Oh, okay. This is my familiar. A turtle. Okay. I've got a turtle. Totally not a cat. Whoa, my fatality 0. The fuck? You can see that using Train Familiar on iShow, you increased iShow's conversation skill step by 1. You have added Encourage Fellow Student to iShow. Sweet. Afternoon, you see using Explore. You have explored Academagia and discovered Incarnation Classroom. You have Rest. Matters of concern to you. Parents approval 0. Brex von Wetjian exceeded that using Compete. Merivius merits increased by 3 by Brixton von Wetjian. You decrease your fatality by 2. You increase your conversation skills by 1. You have learned about the Socialite Guide to Conversation. You have learned about Garble. Okay. Courage merits. Okay. So we're going to give this an end for now. And we'll see how this goes. Now that was a really long reading session. It really got my throat. So I'm going to recover for a little bit and we'll see you next time. For more mobile and PC gaming, as well as more of Academagia, be sure to check out and subscribe to my channel if you like it. And if you have any tips and tricks, or you just want to say hello, be sure to leave a comment below. And I'll see you all next time. This is Sean, signing off. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you all next time.